Hey book readers, today I'm taking a moment to share some thoughts about the books I read this month. I'm chatting about everything from an award-winning historical fiction and a cozy fantasy read to a spooky short story and a classic Halloween-themed mystery novel. Let's get it going. Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. This might be the most laid-back, low-stakes book I've ever read, with an orc named Viv who quits her life of violence and opens up a coffee shop. While the book is full of characters who buck expectations, showing surprising skills or traits that go against their stereotypical nature, they don't have enough flaws. For instance, most of the book's characters are exceptional at their specific jobs, but they're rarely challenged with a difficult situation or an obstacle to overcome. I mean, the toughest decisions Viv has to make revolve around running a successful coffee shop, like what drinks to serve, how much to charge, what baked goods to offer, what to do when demand spikes, how to keep the shop cool if it's getting hot outside, how to have music consistently. Failure just doesn't seem like that big of a deal in these instances. And that's why I'm only giving this one 3 dog ears. It just was too feel-good, too sweet, and too easy. I understand how some readers might really like that kind of thing, especially if you've just finished a dramatic, stressful book, but I wanted more to pop up from Viv's past that would challenge her and the coffee shop's success, and that just didn't really seem to happen. A Haunting in Venice by Agatha Christie. I found this in the news section of my local library because the movie adaptation had just come out. And since this murder mystery happens during a Halloween party, it made perfect seasonal sense for me to read it in October. In fact, the original name for the book was Halloween Party. And this one also scored 3 dog ears for me. More than anything, it confirmed that I'm just not really into classic mysteries. I've read a few different Agatha Christie novels before, and nothing has really moved the needle. And while this was published over 50 years ago, I can't give it a pass on how corny the premise was. I mean, the victim in the beginning died by being drowned while bobbing for apples. Come on now. That in and of itself made this book seem like a parody of a Halloween mystery right from the jump. Next up is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. The story of the Greek hero Achilles and the Trojan War gets a beautiful retelling from the point of view of Achilles' friend and lover Patroclus. Possessives that end in S are fun, aren't they? And I gave this book 4 dog ears. I can't say enough about Miller's gorgeous style of writing in this book, which sports a simple structure, never remotely considering what it might mean to yammer on. It has a punchy staccato rhythm that gets right to the point, yet still flows elegantly between scenes. And even though we, the reader, and the characters as well in the book, know exactly where the story is going to wind up, it's a breathtaking journey that superbly examines the theme of identity. Next up is The Canterville Ghost by Oscar Wilde. I heard about this one from Matt over at baskinthestory, and it was a delightful short story that I blitzed through just in time for spooky season. It's about a ghost who unsuccessfully tries to scare a family living in the house that he haunts. Now, I listened to an audiobook recording of this one, and the narrator sounded like a guy who just happened to be recording while reading aloud to his family. It was kind of weird how unprofessional it was. But anyhow, I gave it 4 dog ears. Some of my favorite parts of the short story revolve around a bloodstain in one of the rooms on the floor, and this bloodstain just won't go away, with characters remarking that they don't like bloodstains in a sitting room, implying that it would be fine anywhere else. Another character touts the ability of this miracle cleaning product to clean stains that are hundreds of years old even. And then there are members of the family taking bets on what color the bloodstain will change to next. Some other funny parts include the ghost's attempt at demonic laughter, sounding to the family like someone just has indigestion. And then the Canterville Ghost also is scared at one point of what he thinks of and isn't actually another ghost. Next up is To Shape a Dragon's Breath by Monoquill Blackgoose. This story is set in an alternate history, 1840s America. that was conquered by the Norse and has dragons. It's told from the perspective of a young Native American woman named Anakus. But because of this long lapse, Anakus needs guidance on how to train her dragon. So she'll have to interact with English people from the mainland. Plus, the English have all these rules and regulations about dragons, so Anakus has some I's to dot and T's to cross to make sure that the English don't kill her dragon or decimate her village. And yes, in this book they refer to them as the English, not the English. Now, because this book is YA fantasy aimed at a younger audience, it does occasionally beat you over the head with the messaging, especially about how the English want to civilize the savages and force the indigenous people to assimilate into their own culture. And I'm giving 4 dog ears to this one. I really liked how Black Goose includes chapters that are side stories within the overall story, reflecting the oral storyteller culture that Anakus comes from. It's also clear that this book shares some common ground with a couple of my other recent reads, being Babel and Fourth Wing. However, unlike Babel's zipping through the years and more along the lines of Harry Potter, this book focuses on one school year. And unlike Fourth Wing, the relationship between the Dragoneer and the dragon takes more of a back seat in this story, as does any hot and heavy romances that might pop up. And last but not least was The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. I binged this during a long flight recently. It was so good and heartbreaking that I just couldn't put it down. And no matter your typical taste in books, I'm not sure how someone could read this and not like it. The author does an amazing job of exploring topics like the challenge of parent-child relationships, the meaning of friendship/brotherhood, and how our past influences our present and our future. And this is definitely a 5 dog ear book. I know it's been out for 20 years and I'm late to the party, but if you haven't gotten a chance to read The Kite Runner, put it on your literary bucket list and read it ASAP. There's tragedy, there's victory, and some remarkable characters and unforgettable scenes in this book. There you have it, the highs and lows of my October 2023 reading journey. Remember to like, subscribe, and let me know if you've read any of these in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Happy reading.